Hey there, Marc Elias with Red One Realty. Today we are here with Brad Clarizio of the Clarizio Home Team. What is up, sir?
Hey, Mark.
Good
Not
to
to
see
look,
you.
man. Happy Wednesday.
Thank you. Happy Wednesday. I'm glad we could spend time together.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. I actually got started in all of this by flipping cars. When I was 15 years old, I wanted a car, and I got a job with someone. I'm a big car guy. Yeah, it's like my passion is cars and cooking. And
You're Italian, ladies?
I am Italian. Yeah. And so I wanted a car, and so I got a job at Subway, and I bought my first car. It was a 1999 Ford Escort ZX2, not just any old Ford Escort, but the little two-door coupes, right? It's like, oh man, I'm cool. It was in the highlight of Fast and the Furious. Remember that, right? Well, this came out. I so badly wanted a Honda Civic, I couldn't afford one because there was a premium on them those days because of that movie. And so I got the Ford version, right? It's like, nah, all right, this is close. But I got one that was an automatic. And, you know, like if you watch Fast and Furious, what's one of the coolest things? You're clicking, you know.
I wanted the manual.
I wanted the manual, right? So I couldn't afford to go out and buy one, right? So what I did was, and I had no automotive competency at all. My dad's not a car guy. I had nothing. I knew I wanted this manual. I knew I couldn't afford it. So, and I knew it would take me forever if it was just Subway.
Mm-hmm.
So I found a wrecked ZX2 here in Columbus, and it was $700. And at the time, I was like, oh, man, $700, that's going to kill me. But what I found was I could sell the rest. It was the whole car. So I could take the manual parts and swap into my car.
No way.
And then sell everything else. I found a YouTube tutorial on how to do it. And I found a guy who lives in Indiana that created the YouTube tutorial. And I became friends with him, and I paid him to come to Columbus and to help me swap this car, my car, the car that I worked so hard to buy. And he helped me swap it to a manual. And I was left with all the components of the automatic transmission that I sold.
Yeah.
And then I stripped the rest of the car. It's really easy to disassemble a car, just as a record. You have to have very little knowledge to just tear it apart. Putting it back together, it's just a whole different story, man. Whole different story. So it's called parting out. And I parted this car out, and I sold everything on eBay. I actually made money. So when I first I paid this guy, I paid for the car. My parents let me do it, and we did it in the driveway of my parents' house. I couldn't believe they let me do it. And I actually made money. I thought, holy crap, this was kind of fun. So over the next 2 years, I parted out over 40 Ford Escort CX2s. First day, 9:07 a.m. And I think to myself, I'm 21 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I think to myself, how in the hell can I do this for 44 more years? It's been an hour and 7 minutes. And I am like, yeah, you got those lights above you buzzing. And it's like, you know, and I'm on my computer. I don't know what I'm doing. It's my first day. And I'm like, I can't do this for 45 years. And you can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that night, I found Bigger Pockets, which at the time was like a very small website.
Yeah.
I Googled, like, I always thought real estate was cool. I'd never done anything with real estate. And so I found Bigger Pockets. I started reading about people who felt just like I did, right? Who were like, hey, this, you know, I don't want to do this. So I want to be a real estate investor. And I thought, well, hell, I flipped cars. Why can't I flip houses? That's what I did. So I borrowed $25,000 off my dad's credit card. He didn't know he had it on a credit line, but he was like, this thing only has a few $1,000 limit.
What interest rate?
Oh, it was like 22%. I mean, it was crazy high.
Mm-hmm.
And he called the place. They're like, yeah, you have a $25,000 line of credit on there that you can pull, but it's crazy high. And I'm like, I'll do it.
So he invested in you.
He did. Now I had to pay him back like right away. And again, he didn't know he had it. So but he believed in me.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, yeah, I don't have any money to give you, but I can give you this line of credit. And so,
Which would, by the way, totally have messed up his life if you couldn't repay it back and his credit score went like
absolutely,
500.
absolutely believed in me for sure.
Yeah.
You know, I always try to give my parents the credit, which is, if they didn't give me that $25,000, then I wouldn't have bought my very first house on LaGrange Drive. I bought a condo in Canal Winchester for $25,000. Different time in Columbus, right?
Yeah.
This is 2011, where we're just coming out of the crisis, and you know, houses were, frankly, 20% of what they are now.
Yeah.
I bought this condo for $25,000, and my poor realtor at the time had to do all this stuff and put it in the HUD system and do all this work. He made 3% of $25,000. But he was brand new. He was one of my best friends, and he just appreciated the sale. But how times have changed. That same condo sold 2 years ago for over $200,000. Love it. So I bought it for 25. I did all the work with myself and a buddy who had laid floors with his dad one time.
Yeah.
And I watched YouTube. I know it. Remember, I'm a car expert, right? Yeah. I know how to change an engine. Yeah. I don't know how to paint. I mean, truly, I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. So I paid one of my buddies, I think it was like $15 an hour, maybe less, to come just like show me how to do things. And I ended up finishing the whole house for under $5,000. And we put it on the market. Things took a lot longer back then. It wasn't multiple offers in one day, but it sold for $56,000.
Love it.
So I'm 21, all about to turn 22, and I just doubled my money. I was in associate relations specifically. So it was like, I was coaching executive vice presidents at DSW to, have this conversation with this manager to push them or whatever it is. It's like I'm guiding them to be the best manager they could be, to make the other manager the best manager they could be. Love it. And so it was missing, right? It was like, well, I spent 10 years doing it. I loved HR. And I had a ton of business, as things were just growing and growing and growing. I thought it's time for a team. And I love that about having a team. It's my favorite part, hands down. It's not the money. It's not anything else about having a team. It's that it scratches that HR itch. I still have it. It's still in me. And
well, you love people.
I do. I love people, and every agent on my team, I want to be the best version of themselves.
Yeah.
And I like to think, you have to ask them. I like to think I help get them there. And they don't always love what I have to say,
sure,
but that's part of, I think, being a tough leader and a tough business owner, and being somebody that holds people accountable for being the best they can be.
Yeah.
That's really my goal for the team.
2 businesses, or are there any others in addition to investments and your real estate business?
It ties into investing, but I do a lot of private lending. And so, when I think about like helping others, one of the things I needed when I first got started was somebody to believe in me financially, not just go get them, right? But like, here's the check to go with it.
Yeah.
So there are some folks here in Columbus that I really believe in, and I put my money where my mouth is, and I'll lend to them.
How do you filter the input? Running the biz, team leader, parent of 3, 179 doors.
Yeah. So I actually pay for an app that blocks me from social media for the first 2 hours of the day. So like once I turn on my phone, or once I click my phone for the first time in the morning, it automatically blocks it for 2 hours. And so I can't start my day with trash, right? I normally wake up at 6, so it's from 6 to 8.
Yeah.
And then I get 1 hour. It unlocks for 1 hour. And, that's where, like, a lot of times I'm posting new listings, or I'm trying to get as much out there as I can. And some death scrolling, as they call it. Deaths, where you just scroll and scroll. It's like, oh, my God, it's been 20 minutes. So I do that. And then I have it blocked for 3 more hours.
Mm-hmm.
And that's typically, again, just on a normal day from like 9 to noon, right? Mm-hmm. And so it unlocks at noon. And it doesn't relock again until 10 o'clock. Actually, I'm sorry. 2 years ago, I committed to my wife and to my family that with my schedule, I had to have dedicated time that no matter what is for them. I'm a big mentor guy. So like, I believe that there are people that are ahead of me. And I don't mean that in a bad way. There's people who have already done what I've done.
Sure.
And why not learn from them?
Sure.
So I leverage mentors a lot. I do mentor people as well. I think the team in general is a big, giant mentorship grid.
Yeah.
And I learn a lot. Everybody needs somebody to like lean on in some way. And then maybe I can't mentor everybody for free, but hey, if anybody has questions about real estate or real estate investing, feel free to reach out.
Marc Elias with Red One Realty. Thanks for joining us. And if you know anyone that is accomplished, passionate about something, has a unique point of view, I'd love the chance to sit down with them here in the studio. Take care.